Today I'd like to do a review of the 2020 version STI Staccato P Duo. First week of October 2019, I went into my local STI dealer, paid for and placed an order for a 2019 version STI Staccato P Duo. Fast forward mid-February 2020, I received a phone call from the dealer that the firearm was in. Upon my arrival, I was surprised to find the 2020 version waiting for me. The dealer was surprised as well. As I stated earlier, we ordered in early October and we're expecting the 2019 version. I'm not exactly sure when STI did this changeover, but nonetheless, the 2020 version was there and I did accept it. For those unfamiliar with the platform, the main differences: the 2019 has a 4.15 inch barrel. It has a full-length dust cover. It has a tree bark stippled grip. This 2020 version has a 4.45 inch barrel. It obviously does not have a full-length dust cover, and it has the Gen 2 or a waffle style grip. As I stated, I accepted this firearm and took it home. The firearm comes with one 17-round black Teflon magazine. This is 126 millimeter. The firearm ships with two 140 millimeter or 20-round magazines, black Teflon. In addition, you get a nice carrying case from STI. The front portion has your manual, your tools, your optic system, and so forth. The middle section has a place for magazines, and the back section has a place for the handgun. Along with it comes the owner's manual. Being unfamiliar with the 2011 and 1911 platform, I did read this manual. I've got a friend local that has an FFL that builds 1911s, and while I've shot those and enjoyed the grip angle, the trigger, I haven't been so much a fan of the magazine capacity. So here I am today, ending up with the 2011. Upon reading this manual, I did find one discrepancy, and there was a lack of information in the manual regarding the toolless guide rod system, which is present in this firearm. A search elsewhere, and I was able to find that information. Also, with the case is a proof of the target, 3 recoil springs, light, medium, and heavy. It should be noted that the firearm ships with the medium spring as well, so there'll actually be 2 medium springs. The last thing in the package was the Dawson Universal Optic mounting system. Inside you'll find all the tools that you need, the Allen wrenches, the Loctite, centering post, and whatnot. This system made by Dawson Precision is for the Leupold Delta Point Pro, the Trijicon RMR, and the Trijicon SRO. Everything you need is right here inside. Speaking of that Dawson Precision mount, there's been some talk on the internet about that mount. Some folks are suggesting that the mount is too thick. I like that the mount is robust, but I would like to see possibly a little bit thinner. With a little bit thinner mount, you could get that optic to sit a little bit lower in the slide. And I'll talk more about that here in a minute. But again, it's made by Dawson Precision. I did call them and speak with someone there to see if there was plans or anything in the works for a different style mount or a thinner mount, and I was told that there was nothing in the works or in the planning stages. You're going to get the Dawson Precision blacked out serrated rear sight and a Dawson Precision fiber optic green sight. You can co-witness those through your optic. That is a nice sighting system. Initially, after taking the firearm home, I took it apart, I lightly oiled it, and I mounted a Trijicon SRO. Yes, I'm aware there's a Trijicon RMR on there now, and I'll get more to that here in just a minute. But after mounting that SRO, I went out to the range and installed one of the 17-round magazines. Fired 17 rounds, the slide locked back on an empty magazine. I went to perform a slide lock reload and inserted one of the 20-round magazines. The magazine immediately fell out of the mag well. I thought that was weird. Knowing that the magazine was brand new, I thought there was an issue with the magazine. I picked up the second 20-round magazine, placed it in the mag well, and it also fell out. At that point, I looked at the magazine release button, and I'll see if I can find some video that I had taken and attach that at the end. But there was no tension on that magazine release, and I know that there should be. While I'm not an armor for this platform, that was something that was apparent to me. So I called STI customer service and was transferred to a gunsmith. I spoke with him about it. He immediately recognized the problem, and within a few hours I had a shipping label emailed to me. STI paid shipping both ways, and the next day, reluctantly, I shipped back to Texas or to STI a 17-round 2011 firearm. They stayed in contact with me throughout that process. I got updates when they received the firearm, who would be working on the firearm, what was found, what work was done, and when the firearm was shipped. The communication with them was excellent. I couldn't have asked for more. I received the firearm back in just over a week, and STI sent along 2 black Teflon magazines with it. They didn't have to do that, but I thought it was a nice touch, and I did appreciate that. I then began a new battery of testing, starting there at 17 rounds, and since then I've only had one other stoppage or malfunction, and I'll get into that here in just a minute. I'm just over 2,100 rounds, 147 grain, 124 grain mostly is what I'm shooting, a little bit of 115. But no other malfunctions other than the one I'll speak about here in just a minute. It's been a good firearm. Been happy with it. One of the things that I did note initially was the frame to slide fit. Those familiar with the 2011 and 1911 platform will talk about on a good quality manufacturer how tight that fit is. And initially I believe that fit was incredibly tight to the point where I was having weaker ejection. I wouldn't say weak ejection, but weaker ejection. There was quite a bit of drag, and as it's gotten broke in, it's now feels like it's on rails. But that leads me to my only other malfunction. With that weaker ejection, those familiar with the SRO know that the SRO, the front portion of that extends out here a ways. And with this Dawson precision plate sitting a little bit higher, a spent piece of brass was ejected out and was lodged between the hood of the SRO and the slide, causing the slide not to go into battery. That's the only other malfunction I had, but I actually did have to take a little bit of a moment or two to clear that piece of brass. It was stuck pretty good. So that prompted me, one of the reasons that prompted me to remove the SRO and put the RMR back on there. But with the RMR on there, I've had no malfunctions. Like I said, 2,100 rounds. I haven't cleaned it yet. I have wiped this firearm down. I have continued to oil it. The ambidextrous safety is very nice. It's very positive. It's very tactile. Couldn't ask for much more. The grip safety, no issues there. The trigger is excellent. It's very short. It's very crisp. I believe the manual says it breaks around 4 pounds. While I haven't had my my Lyman gauge on it, I would say it's anywhere between 3.5 and 4. Been very happy with that. No complaints with the sights, no issues with them moving. It's been a great firearm. It's incredibly accurate. It was very easy to zero for the RMR and the SRO. Very tight groups. No issues there. One thing that I did find interesting, initially I attempted to put a Surefire X300A onto this firearm, and I was unable to get that to fit on there. To get it to fit, I actually had to loosen all 6 of these screws, then slide the light on, and then tighten those back up. So in the meantime, I've gone to the X300B version, which is a different, more of a vise type mount. It's similar to the Streamlight style lights, but it has not come off. No issues, no problems there. Like I said, it's been fun to shoot. Firearms are tools to me. I use them every day at work. I really don't get attached, but I do find myself gravitating towards this firearm. Had the pack timer out this week and was shooting this back-to-back with drills, with some salient Tier 1 Glocks, some M&Ps, some CZ, some other firearms I have that have optics on them so I could get fair comparisons, same ammunition, and I was consistently quicker with hitting some steel plates at certain distances with this particular firearm. So it is growing on me. It is going up in my list as far as the ones I like to shoot. For holsters, I'm using a T-Rex Arms Kydex Ragnarok holster. They don't make one specifically for this STI. I'm using the M&P version with a Surefire Light. And you do get a good fit. It does lock in there. I don't have to worry about the firearm falling out. That was another reason that I went with the RMR over the SRO, because again, that SRO overhangs. I was going to have to trim this holster a little bit to get the firearm to sit deeper in the holster. I wasn't real crazy about doing that, so that was another reason for removing the SRO and going back to the RMR. I have no affiliation with STI. I have no reason to tout them. If I wasn't happy with this purchase, I would tell you that. At this point, I could recommend it. I'm really enjoying shooting it. And if you're on the fence about picking one of these up, I would say go ahead and do it. So thanks for watching. Continue to shoot and stay safe. This is a 2020 Staccato P Duo. 17 rounds into testing, ran into our first issue, that being the mag release. Went to eject the first magazine, ejected it, and was unable to seat a second magazine. And while I'm not overly familiar with the 1911 or 2011 in particular platforms, I do know that there should be some spring tension on this magazine release. So we've had a spring or something break on the inside there. So looks like it's going back to STI.